Twitter just held an event here in Toronto recently called Position of Strength. It's an event intended to empower women and to have important conversations about Twitter in Canada. And of course, if you're going to be discussing the future of a site dedicated to tolerance and dialogue, you want to invite the brightest and most open minds possible, ones that will ensure a dedication to kindness as well as consideration towards free speech. So let's take a look at some of the attendees this official Twitter event invited to speak about Twitter safety. Firstly, Toronto councillor Kristen Wong-Tam. Wong-Tam is a councillor who has talked about Twitter safety quite a bit in the past. In fact, she was linked to one of Canada's greatest discussions about free speech and Twitter, the Gregory Allen Elliott case. To sum up the case for you, Elliott had sent some critical tweets to a radical feminist in Toronto named Stephanie Guthrie, who then decided to have Elliott arrested and charged for criminal harassment. The case went to court, and luckily Elliott won, and free speech prevailed. Criticism is not criminal. Wong-Tam is linked to this because she took part in a discussion at a Women in Toronto Poly meeting, a group run by Stephanie Guthrie, where they discussed Twitter and harassment. And like Guthrie, Wong-Tam loves to exaggerate every comment she sees on Twitter. In fact, she has stated that she calls the police every time she sees a tweet that she deems threatening. The problem with that being, as an example of a threat, she has pointed to a tweet where someone called her a cunt. Last time I checked, that is an insult, not a threat. Now, I'd call her a few names for how ridiculous she is being, but I don't want her to waste any more police time. This does beg the question, though. If Wong-Tam thinks calling someone a cunt is a threat, what does she think of tweeting out, "Please Allah, give me strength to not cuss/kill these men and white folks out here today"? Because that would be a tweet written by our favorite Black Lives Matter organizer and resident racist, Yusra Kogali, who was sitting right beside Wong-Tam at this Twitter event. Now, if any of you know Yusra from my last video, you know she is a batshit insane black supremacist. What you may not know is that she is quite literally under investigation by the Toronto police for making threats, saying exactly, "The police officer who killed Andrew Loku, we are coming after you. You better believe it. You are going to spend the rest of your life without your family, like how Andrew Loku's 5 children will have to go on without their father. Justice will be served." Apparently a racist and someone who makes tons of online threats is an amazing spokesperson for Twitter Canada. Great to know Twitter. But the fun doesn't end there. Twitter also had BuzzFeed's notorious Scatchy at their event. Now, I find Scatchy quite funny actually, but that doesn't change the fact that she doesn't really like men and white people. In fact, she's probably most famous for being the BuzzFeed Canada senior editor that goes on a crazy racist, sexist rant. Dozens of videos and articles have torn Scatchy apart for her comments and tweets. It really all started with these tweets. At BuzzFeed Canada would particularly like to hear from you if you are not white and not male. Then, after a bit of outrage over her discrimination, she followed up with, "If you're a white man upset that we are looking mostly for non-white, non-men, I don't care about you. Go write for Maclean's." But it doesn't end there. Scatchy is just a bundle of love. Here's a few of her other very tolerant tweets, like this tweet showing a picture of a garbage can with the word men above it. Or this one saying, "You owe these pale demons nothing," or this one, or this one, or this one. Needless to say, Twitter chose some champions to represent tolerance, safety, and diversity at the Position of Strength event. A bunch of whining crybullies. It's honestly quite shocking to me how Milo Yiannopoulos can be banned from Twitter, how people critical of mass immigration get shunned by the mainstream media, how racism and sexism is widely vilified, and yet these individuals are embraced by the mainstream. They're invited to give speeches and represent Twitter, all while sitting on their moral high horse thinking they're on the right side of history, discussing the censorship of those who challenge their extremist ideas. Stop pretending you're the good guys, Jack. You're not defending anyone. You're not defending free speech. You're just defending an agenda of a few radical ideologues. If you liked that video, then please click subscribe below to see more.